Greek philosophers went off to ancient Egypt and brought back the teaching of the immortality of the soul and the voyage to heaven, and noticing that the Egyptians had buried their dead on just one side of the Nile River to improve their trajectory into the heavens. The angle of the pyramids perhaps had an effect on this. The pyramids did not look the way they do today. They were plastered in white plaster and they shone in the sun. This was all part of not just where they buried their great pharaohs, but religion was tied in, and maybe this trajectory off to heaven. When Rome became powerful, the Romans accepted and loved everything that the Greek philosophers had talked about, and they incorporated that into pagan Rome. And of course, Constantine, the vision of the cross and the battle that was won, and he ordered that all of the Roman Empire become Christian, that then the teaching of the immortality of the soul and those who die would go to heaven was taught in the Christian church. It was brought right in there. The apostles and Christ taught about when you're dead, you sleep until the resurrection of the dead comes after Christ's return. That no one goes to heaven except he who came down from heaven. You can find that in the New Testament in John 3:13, and it says exactly that. Unless John was mistaken, taught personally by Christ himself, and in Revelation it says that we shall rule for 1,000 years with Christ on this earth, and gives the example of those who qualify will rule over cities throughout the world. This is actually where not only Christ returns to, but after the 1,000 years of world peace under God's control on earth, even God the Father comes to earth, and earth becomes the center of the universe that is to be populated on all planets. Believe it or believe it not, and it is true. It is going to happen because God himself has designed it. He has more mental capacity than everyone who has ever lived, and he has designed this tremendous reproduction of himself in the family of God. That's why God gets so offended and angry at anyone who tries to distort his design of the family. Let's not do that, because God knows best, as we will find out in the very near future when we bring ourselves to the brink. So I provocatively asked, so where did Billy Graham go? Billy Graham is asleep now. He's asleep in his grave, and he will awake when Christ decides to resurrect him at the time of the resurrection of all of those who have ever lived, and they will learn God's true teachings on the immortality of the soul, and they won't believe what the Greeks gave the Romans, what the Romans gave the Protestants, and what the Protestants and the evangelicals gave us. I'm really shocked to realize that just reading a few scriptures and actually learning what God's plan is, that this belief is still extant here in the modern United States of America and throughout the world. But Rome did distort all of this over hundreds of years, and it will take time for us to learn true Christianity.